Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, business owners. It's Leon Street here, and we are back another Sunday morning, 8:30, or a little few minutes after. I've got an interesting topic to discuss with you, and I've got a few disclaimers as well. Whilst I'm not a life coach, I'm a man of life. I've experienced a few things, and I want to share it from a perspective, I guess, as a business owner. And there's probably many of you out there who are in relationships, and I'm just simply talking about the topic. I say simply, but actually it can be an explosive topic, how to deal with tension in your relationships. And if you have any questions or anything you want me to answer, any perspective, any feedback, or anything that you want to add to what I'm talking about, please feel free to add a comment below this video. If you're watching this on YouTube for the first time and you like what you see, remember to click on the subscribe button and click on the notification bell to be notified of any upcoming videos that I've got. And remember, today we tend to talk about business, but also some of the other sides of business, the more personal sides. If you want to know more about marketing, sales, remember to catch me every Wednesday evening. That's UK time, 8:30 p.m., where I talk about all things to do with business. So anyway, I want to get into this topic because I guess there's a lot of people who they go through the challenge of I guess in many respects, the challenge of running their business, let me just switch this around a second, running their business. But, the biggest thing that we can really, I guess, kind of fix or have go right in our lives is when our relationships are going right. And I guess there's different perspectives that I want to look at. So I have got something I want to share on screen, but I'm going to come to that in a moment. So if you've got anything that you want to kind of throw into the mix as I'm going through this, or you've experienced some tension in your own relationship or past relationships, and also you have some ideas about how you dealt with it in a good way. Yeah, that's what I mean. This is all a positive approach, either positive for you or positive for both of you, that I'd love for you to contribute, guys. Now, as I said, I prepared a few slides just to kind of dig into this. But before we go into this, I've got about 8 steps I'm going to share with you. But before we get into the key 8 steps, just want to share a couple of things with you if you are a business owner. So I've got a question. Have you taken your business beyond your wildest dreams and goals? If the answer is no, then perhaps what you probably need is a new strategy. I run a program called Certainty in Crisis, and Certainty in Crisis is an 8-week coaching program that uses my unique method called the Vortex Method, which is a 5-step method to help businesses go from struggling or challenging times or hitting, glass ceilings to exploding and going to the next level. If you're interested in taking your business to the next level, book in a call simply by going to www.leonstreet.com/join-CIC. And CIC is simply Certainty in Crisis. So go to www.leonstreet.com/join-CIC. Book yourself in for a call. You'll have a chat with me and we can talk more about how I can help your business to go to the next level by understanding what's holding you back. Anyway, so let's get into these 8 steps for today's topic. Right. So I do have a disclaimer, guys. So the disclaimer is this video comes from my own experiences, and you should always seek professional help if you're experiencing problems in a relationship you cannot resolve yourself. If the tension has escalated into mental, emotional, or physical abuse, seek help now. Yeah. As I said, I'm not a qualified psychologist. I want to preach as a business owner from my own experiences. I have done a lot of work on myself in terms of unpicking the ego spiritually and going through all the difficult challenges that you face as not just a business owner, but a human being. And so hopefully this will shed some light for you if you're going through some challenging times right now. So first of all, why resolve tension? Well, perhaps you want your relationship to grow. Yeah, perhaps there's tension in the relationship, but yet the two of you, or even, I guess just from what you see, you want the relationship to grow, and perhaps the other person feels the same way. And, therefore it's a valid, reason to resolve tension. Or you want some tips for dealing with relationship pressures. Maybe there's you're experiencing some pressures. Maybe it's not like extreme, But it's got to the point where, you know, you're looking at ways, well, let's relieve some of these pressures, or you want to understand where the tension in your relationship is coming from, because that's a great one. You know, if you are experiencing tension and you know, let's say you're caught off guard, or perhaps it's you who's kind of I guess increasing the tension in the relationship, and you're not either aware of where it's coming from, or perhaps you are and you need to know how to deal with it. This is I guess why it's important for us as human beings to resolve tension. Yeah, because really tension is just simply, imagine an elastic band. When you pull an elastic band, that's tension. And eventually, if you keep pulling it to the point where the elastic band, the elasticity in the elastic band can't cope anymore, the tension will be broken, i.e. the elastic band will break. Or if the tension is then relieved, the elastic band can come back together and not be under so much tension. Yeah, so therefore it goes back to, I guess, more of a fluid state. And either way that you go, you know, it's kind of like relationships. You can either stretch the relationship beyond the point of elasticity, i.e. it's going to break, yeah, or you can bring it back to where the tension doesn't break the relationship, yeah, just like an elastic band. So I guess that's why people want to explore or relieve, you know, the reasons or the feelings around releasing tension. Here's some steps that I believe that will help you, because these are the ones, I guess, that, you know what, I'm 40 years old, and the more I go through life, you really start to unpick and uncover so many more things about, you know, I guess the meanings to life. And the meanings always revolve around us, in the sense of getting to know who we are. And it's probably the biggest question that a lot of people get, you know, to the point in their life. And this is why I start with awareness, because as you go through your life, you know, and it doesn't happen at specific ages. It happens at different times for different people because of different experiences, and either experiences they've put themselves into or they've gone into. And, you know, there's some people who say, you know, the older you get, the wiser you get. Yeah, that's true. But also, the more experiences you have around these different things that you want, I guess, to do better at, to experience better things in your life, you know, it really will come down to you going through more experiences. And if you live in this place of like a comfort zone, let's say everything's rosy and there's never friction, never any tension, you'll find that most of the people who experience that really never grow. Because and this is where I'm going to share a little bit about me. In my earlier I guess kind of ages, in my 20s, I would never really want friction. I would never really want arguments or anything like that, because I'd see it as a waste of time or a detraction from what I wanted to do or the positive things that I wanted to go for. But what I also realized is that in not having any friction, in not having even the space to kind of label what was going on, if there was tension with me and my partner at the time, or me and any other person, whether it's team member or person who I'm working with on a project, by not acknowledging the tension, that's where you start to miss out on how that friction can allow you to grow, because your awareness is not there. And this was my own experience. You know, when I was younger, like I said, in my 20s, I was, I guess, in many respects, kind of deluding myself by not going into that place, by not exploring what tension really meant. And therefore, my awareness around it, from a perspective of, oh, actually, you can grow out of it, was really low. And if you want to relieve tension in a relationship, it has to start with awareness. It has to start with you not just pointing the finger and saying, there you go again, you know, they're the problem. Or if it's you who's bringing the tension to the relationship, it's like raising the awareness of, why am I like making perhaps insignificant or very small things such an explosive thing, or, you know, constantly coming back to high tension, high pressure, high anger, whatever it is, you know. And awareness, it, you know, it cuts both ways, which is the point that I want to get to here. But if you don't start with the awareness around, you know, with what's going on, this is the place where tension can break the relationship, because either you, your partner, or just one of you, or both of you, just aren't at this place of awareness, aren't at this place of, actually, we do love one another, we do care about one another. So let's let's explore what's going on here, because we do want to be together. And I don't know if you've experienced this, guys. This is a really important step, especially when it comes to relationships. It is about awareness, because you can be in a relationship where one person's aware and the other person's not aware, or let's say one person is aware but they're not speaking up because they don't want to rock the boat. Have you ever heard that expression? Hey guys, thanks for jumping on. Sarah, Angela, thank you for jumping on. And if you can't get to this place of awareness where it's common in the relationship, there is a problem, and the problem is going to come with what I've got for step 2. So it starts with awareness, and here's where you can start to look at yourself from awareness. Look at what's going on internally with you. So internal pressures can come from things like difference in culture, difference in age, jealousy, lack of compromise, and unreasonable or unfulfilled expectations. This is probably the killer for a lot of people. Unreasonable and unfulfilled expectations. And sometimes those expectations are expectations that are in a person's head, and they're not shared. So how could the other person ever know what you really, wanted? Or it could come from a place of unreasonable expectations that you putting upon somebody else when you're not really looking at yourself in the mirror. And above all these, and this is why I've highlighted it in red, what I've found, and this is my own experiences, guys, internal pressures usually come from ego and your upbringing, and to be very specific, something called your individuation, what you learned from birth up until the age of 7, as you started to become an individual, as you started to create your personality. What happens is from that age of 0 to 7, you start to learn the programming of how you believe the world to be, kind of your filter. And these all add to the internal pressures that people put upon themselves. And therefore that then comes out into the relationship. And that's what, causes tension. But you really have to start from this place of awareness and willingness to look in the mirror. Michael Jackson, The Man in the Mirror. That's what the song's about, isn't it? It's to look at yourself and who you are. But a lot of people don't go deep enough. And this is where tensions, if you can't get to this place of looking at internally, first of all, because your internal world is what sets your external world, then this is where you'll face massive challenges in relationships. And this comes from my experience, guys. So the other thing is obviously external pressures. So external, they can come from people, they can come from factors outside of your relationship itself, such as study, work, illness, money, family, friends, the environment. And so if you can get to this place of awareness in what's going on internally and externally, you can start to look at, well, is this truly, tension that is coming from the relationship, or is it actually coming from you, i.e. yourself internally, or is it coming from factors outside? But it's stepping up to this place of awareness that you're willing to look at it, and by being objective. Because if you truly care about the other person, and as a business owner, running a business in itself is like, it's very pressured. And so there's already tension. And you've got to understand that with your business and you being a business owner, if you are experiencing tension in your relationships, is it pressures from your business that you're then pouring into your relationship? Are you kind of, experiencing challenging times in your business and therefore taking away from the emotional bank account of your relationship, and you're overspending by causing or bringing the tension into your relationship with your significant other? Could even be your children, if you're a parent. And I've experienced that. I guess when I had my first child, and what I thought being a parent to be, the tension I was bringing was lessons I'd had as a youngster, i.e. discipline, focus on making sure things are done right. But as I got older as a parent, as I guess kind of experience tension and realize, like, shit, what the hell's going on here, Leon? You're not being the kind of parent you're meant to be. And this is an ongoing thing, by the way. My eldest right now is 13. But early, I guess, in my days of being a father, what I wasn't catching, because my awareness hadn't caught up with where I truly wanted things to be, i.e. my true desire, my true purpose for me as a parent, as a father, I hadn't got to this place of awareness. But over time, what I started to see was the results, the evidence, and the results were, I'm not being as happy as I should be with my son. Yeah. Or my son's not actually turning to me when I want him to be. And these were the signs. Yeah. And sometimes you're going to go through different things, whether it's internal, external. And these are going to be the flags for you guys that you start to either pick up on them and kind of raise to the top of your awareness, or you ignore. And when you ignore them, this is what increases tension, guys. And so for me, as a business owner, there's a lot of challenges you do face as a business owner, whether it's financial, whether it's just pressures from the work that you've put upon yourself. But just be mindful. Yeah. What do you bring into your relationships, whether it is, like I say, with your intimate romantic partner, husband, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, or relationships with your children, if you're a parent, or relationships with your kind of extended family, could be your mother, your father, whoever in your relationships, or even friends. Yeah. And so for me, these things are critical, because whilst being a business owner is important, the people around you is even more important. Yeah. Because they're the ones that I guess you've chosen to have in your life. Some you can't choose, i.e. your parents and other people, but the ones that you spend time with, or you choose to spend time with, this is why it's important to start from a place of awareness. I'm just coming to some comments. Sorry. We need to deprogram or stay in our own core, as my ways. Symphony and staying connected. Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Sarah. I agree. We do need to deprogram, and that's where this kind of awareness place starts. We are inviting all to stay deeply in the heart. Yes, thank you for sharing that. Yes, the patterns. Yes, Sarah. I'm not even touching on patterns today, Sarah, because we would go a lot deeper. But definitely patterns start from your individuation from 0 to 7. But anyway, I don't want to digress into another area, guys, because this is really important. So step 2 of how to deal with tension in relationships, communication. So if you've looked at yourself from an internal perspective and external perspective, and just kind of started to become aware that actually I'm a bit tense right now because of social lockdown, or the challenges of COVID and how it's putting pressures on your business financially, perhaps, or just the environment of your customers, or just operating in business. Like for instance, right now, a lot of people can't travel the way they wanted to, get away, go on holiday, to re-energize, release tension. There's different factors going on right now, and these tensions really can mount up. So if you want to change that, start with number 1, awareness. But ultimately, after awareness, it's communication. Because once you got to a place of you understand that actually I'm doing something and I don't want that result of the actions I'm taking to happen, then once you get to this place of awareness, you've got to communicate, guys. And what I would say is that in a relationship, the best thing that I've found is if you can be in a relationship where it is open and safe, meaning that you can have conversations, where your intention is a loving intention, or a positive intention for you to strengthen a relationship. And when communication is not open and safe, it's where if a person's talking, you're instantly going for them, or you're instantly firing after them, and you instantly just want to argue. That's not open and safe. Open and safe is where you can just express, what's on your mind, so that you seek to understand what's going on with the person, or that person can seek to understand what's going on with you. It isn't communication so you can just continue arguing. And for me, having an open and safe place, especially in like my relationship right now, like that's probably one of the biggest, I guess, kind of evolutions in my relationships, that I've had in the past, which is knowing that I have a place where I can be open and safe with that person, and that person can be open and safe with me in terms of communication when they want to share something, and we can dig deeper and not just point the finger, but actually let's look at what's going on here. And for me, like, it's so powerful. But here's the kind of, I guess, the caveat that I want to add to that. Open and safe doesn't mean that you can use that kind of honesty against the person. It should be used as a place, as a foundation that you can grow from. And this is where you have to understand the relationship that you're in. Are you in a relationship where a person, they are looking for the best for you? They are looking to offer you that environment where actually you can share openly, and it's not going to be used against you. It's going to be used in a way that that person understands you and can love you more and can help you, even if there is friction. And so that means that friction or tension doesn't go away, but you've created an environment that you can tackle it when it goes outside or goes to a place that perhaps you guys don't understand, or it goes beyond I guess the norms of what you would usually experience. And this is an important thing, guys. Open and safe communication. So step 3, expectations. Is this making sense, everybody who's watching? If it is, whether you're watching this back live or you're watching this on the replay, please do jump in. I've got about 5 more steps after this third one. Expectations. Yeah, and this is a big thing as well. Understand why you or the other person has expectations that are not being met. Are they unrealistic? Are they outdated? Are they from an old mindset? Are they from old patterns? Yeah. Old programs that you're running, or just the way you think things should have been because what you saw of your own parents, or another relationship that perhaps you're modeling and you don't need to model because your relationship has you and the other person who are different individuals. These are things that you really need to tap into and just be clear, like, are your expectations that really shouldn't be in the relationship, or they're just unfair, they're not realistic to what's going on, i.e. they don't account for what the person has gone through, is going through, what you're going through, different challenges. Look at your expectations, guys, because sometimes when somebody comes to you and they say, as an example, Leon, can you just give me your opinion on this thing? Yeah. And as human beings, we're always ready to give our opinions. And it's kind of like expectations with anything in life. We have expectations. Some of these expectations are, they come from, I guess, the subconscious. Yeah. They're unconscious to us. But if somebody asks us, we're probably willing to or ready to say, oh, this is what I believe the expectations of this to be. And that's what can happen in relationships. You can have subconscious and unconscious expectations. And so when it comes to expectations, you really have to explore, like, are these true for what we've got going on here in this relationship? Or are they just simply unrealistic and they have no connection to what we have right now? Yeah. So look at that, guys. Step 4, reassure. And this kind of comes back to the open and honest communication, reassure. So what I would say is that if you are going through challenging times, simply reassure your partner for, your feelings for them. Yeah, and this is important because, when you create that open space, when you create, a place of clear expectations, reassure them that you're there for them. And I say why it's important because I'm guessing if that, the other person in the relationship that you have tension with, and they reassure you that, look, we're good, or, I love you, everything's cool, I understand you're going through some challenging times in your business or whatever it is. Yeah, it's equally nice to receive, right? I know it is because I've been there where I guess I've had my head up my own ass around a specific thing. I had unrealistic expectations. My awareness was low. Communication wasn't great. And then fortunately, my partner kind of shed a light on me. She turned the light back on me or showed me the mirror so I could look at myself. And I was like, shit, I really messed up here. Not to say that I couldn't change, but then, the person's expressing that, look, I care for you and I want the best for you. So that's why I'm sharing this with you. And I think it's important that you do get into a place of reassuring, because as a human, it's great to know that somebody cares, right? And somebody cares enough to say, look, you're still a good person. Yeah. Let's get beyond this misbehavior that you're expressing. So step 5, fresh perspective. If you are finding it a bit difficult, perhaps you need fresh perspective. You need to speak to somebody who's been through tension before in different relationships, and you just want their perspective, because a lot of the times, perhaps you can't see the wood for the trees. You can't see clearly what's in front of you. You just need somebody to kind of share their story, their experience, and that way it'll just help you to uncover what's going on with you and, I guess address one of the blind spots you may be experiencing. Right. So step 6, spend time apart. So I'm not telling anybody to separate, have a divorce or anything like that. Or if you've got a friend, to not be friends or not speak to your parents or whoever anymore. What I'm saying is sometimes you may need to just clear your head, go for a walk. You may need to just calm yourself down. You may need to spend a bit more time, to deal with what's going on internally. That's what it usually is around. or to give the other person that time to deal with what's going on internally, to process, to get to this place of awareness, like, oh shit, that's what they were trying to tell me. Give them time to let things kind of click, give them time to let things sink in. And it goes both ways, guys. So, sometimes, I guess when I've experienced tension, I want to relieve it quick, or I want to resolve it quick, but the other person's not ready. And you just have to have that understanding that that's what can also be going on, guys, and be okay with that. Yeah. If it gets to the point where you spent too much time apart and, it's too long, obviously then get back to communication and say, hey, let's have, a chat just to see how you are, how things are, I guess how, if you've had an argument, let's say, how that's played out, what are your thoughts now after either you've expressed or I've expressed, and just come back to communication, guys. That's what I would say on that one. After you've spent some time apart, don't resolve things when you're angry. Yeah. And it's simply that when you're angry or the other person's angry, their emotions have got the better of them. They're not in a place of awareness. They're not in a place of calm, not in a place of removing blame or looking at expectations. And anger is not the place for you to resolve. Yeah. It might be temporarily, i.e. explode and you go apart, because that can happen, right? But don't try and resolve it when the person's angry. You've really got to get to this place where a person is out of that anger emotion or negative emotion or aloofness, or just a place where they don't want to share, or they're not being I guess kind of realistic about what's going on at that point in time. So that would be my other thing. And then finally, step 8, you got to respect your differences, guys, because this is the big thing that I see a lot of people go through. They're willing to go through all the other things, but they don't respect the differences. And the differences are simply this: look, in relationships, there's you and the other person. And the way that you have got to the point in your life with where you are, with what you've experienced, what you think is right, what you think is wrong, what you think is in the middle, gray, how you think the world is according to you. These are all the clear differences, guys. And these differences, I guess, when they go left unchecked and you haven't got this awareness and communication in your life, if you're not willing to really explore your expectations, and do you have unrealistic expectations, or are you placing expectations of your own onto somebody else, which is unfair? All of these different factors, if you can't get to this awareness of, look, we are all different, but you're willing to respect the differences, ultimately that's what will allow you to relieve that tension in the right way. And I say relieve the tension, it's because, constantly, if you're in this place of comfort zone, you'll never really go anywhere. So friction is simply just giving the other person and yourself the opportunity to have a voice. It doesn't mean that it has to be a voice in anger, like 100% of the time. It doesn't mean that it has to be a voice of deceit or disdain. It can be a place of friction because you want the best for the other person, and you want the best for you, the two of you, in the relationship. And this is, I guess, the kind of final step that I want to share with you guys. The more you respect the differences, but you have all these other factors in place where your awareness and the other person's awareness has raised around the topic, and you guys really want the best for one another. That's what counts. And if you understand that, yes, we are all different, the way we think of the world, then that's cool. And that's what gives us, I guess, the kind of fruits of life. And it's these differences in experiences, and knowing that with all differences aside, you still love and respect that person and you want them in your life. And that's, I guess, what life is all about, isn't it? It's maintaining that in your life. And I guess that ends my 8 steps, guys. And hopefully this has been something interesting for you, because, this is something I experience, week in, week out. There's always some kind of friction in relationships, some small, some bigger, but that's what life is, right? And as a business owner, with all the extra pressures that you're going through in life, that can really make things difficult and pressured, and therefore tense. And hopefully these 8 steps you can use to help you go to that next level, guys. So that's my bit of sharing for this morning, Sunday morning. Hopefully it started off your day in the right way. Whether you're watching this live, if you're watching this back on the replay, remember, just drop a few questions, comments, or anything you want to add, ask, or even seek to know more about, just from my perspective. But finally, if, as I said earlier, if you are going through some challenging times where the tension has escalated to mental, emotional, and physical abuse, seek help, guys. I'm not trying to tell you just to stay in a relationship and you're going through that. You know, when I was younger, I experienced, abuse between my parents. Yeah, and I'm not ashamed to say that. And it wasn't, a great thing to see. So if you are going through those things, just make sure that you do seek help, and don't bury it. Yeah, you want to do things the right way. So that's my final thing. Anyway, guys, I just want to say, final call to action. If you haven't taken your business to your wildest dreams and goals, and you are facing challenges, and even if it's escalating in tension and different things, and you do want to go to the next level, then perhaps what you need is a new strategy. The final thing that I want to share with you guys is that I do run a program called Certainty in Crisis. And, we're all going through crisis right now, especially financial crisis. The UK is in recession. I'm guessing around the world, they're in recession from what's happened with this pandemic. Certainty in Crisis, the program, is an 8-week coaching program that I use my unique Vortex method. The Vortex method is my 5-step method of how to take a business from struggling, hitting a glass ceiling, to go into the next level, to hitting 10K a month sales figures, going to 5 figures a month and beyond. And if you're looking to make changes in your life, financially, around tension, and just having the right mindset and experience in life, then what I'd love for you to do, guys, is simply book in a call and have a chat with me. And you can do this so that even if you're in this place where you just want to seek an outside perspective, my advice and just a different approach to how you can do business, simply book in a call. Go to www.leonstreet.com/join-CIC. I'd love to have a chat with you if you're going through some challenges and you want to take your business to the next level. So please do that. So book yourself in. And once again, guys, thank you very much for watching. If you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, remember to subscribe, click on the notification bell, and you'll be notified of all the latest videos. I'll be back on Wednesday, guys. On Wednesday, I'll be talking more about marketing and sales in business. And then I will be back again next Sunday morning talking about different aspects of running a business, being a business owner, life, and all the challenges that we face as human beings, right? So thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys. Until the next time, take care. Have a great day.